This is my second meeting with David Golubev of Local Business Consulting. And the reason I had him back again, because we covered so many cool things in AI, SEO, and even this time covered some things about Shopify and Amazon. So it was a great 1 hour. He's full of information and he knows what he's doing. Good guy, David Golubev, Local Business Consulting. Let's get into it. Second meeting, David, Yaroslav, Golubev. You and I had a great YouTube first video talking about all the exciting stuff we're doing with AI, SEO, Search Atlas. You've released a Search Atlas training video. You've been doing a lot of stuff. You just moved to North Carolina. So I told you I wanted to have you on again so we could catch up and go over some of the things that have been changing in the last few weeks. Anyway, good to see you again. Good to have you on. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Still trying to do the whole transition of moving, changing license, registration, all that headache. But excited with all the new AI stuff. Google came out with the new Banana AI platform for image generation, which I think is a lot better than ChatGPT by like miles now.
Oh, really? Okay. So you're using that pretty regularly?
Yeah, especially for blog content. So ChatGPT or Sora, a lot of times when you create content, there's typos. It's just not consistent. It looks like have you ever used Canva?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Canva last year had this big rollout that its AI platform is going to be awesome. And it was pretty much like a kindergarten drawing. The thing was completely useless. Like I was excited. I did the live launch when they did it, and I won't go back to it. And I tried to use it last week, and it was just useless. So that's how I feel about Sora now. Is compared to what Google released on their content generation side, I feel like Sora, ChatGPT just kind of got left behind.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I've heard that. I have not played with it enough yet, but I also heard one of my colleagues got a bunch of ad accounts shut down because of Sora watermark. Facebook saw that and debanked them on running ads for Meta. I don't know if you've heard about that, but
I haven't heard about that. I have a client that has a wellness supplements brand, so I know Meta has new restrictions that went in effect 2025. So does Google, especially with a lot of scam sites. So they are harder, products like wellness supplements, a lot harder to market now because of those restrictions. So I think that's good that it's got flagged, because I've seen on Instagram brands that don't exist create ads, run ads, people buy them, and then never get the product, and that company's gone with $500,000 or $1 million.
Yeah, you can spin something up real quick. It's amazing to me that in a good way, it's easy to spin up a new ad campaign and get ads going pretty quick. The downside of that is on the consumer side, if you don't catch it in 30, 60 days, and some of those products don't ship, if you're buying something overseas, you don't expect to see it and receive it for 30, 60, 90 days sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean, with websites now, you can build them relatively quickly. You can create social media. The content from Google Apps, which is their Flow agent, or Gemini, looks like real people. You barely in some of the videos could tell the difference. So you could create a product where it looks legit, it sounds legit. You could create fake user-generated content, launch a product, and like you said, it takes a month to 2 months sometimes for the products to ship out, depending on what you're buying. This company could cash out. Meta ads, when you create a new account, they try to throttle you up. You start off slow and they'll charge $1, $2, $3. So eventually you start reaching certain limits. But if that company is not a real company and people don't catch on, like right now for Christmas, Amazon has a 90-day return policy for the holiday period. So people
really?
Yeah, so that's one thing. Actually, if you sell on Amazon, which I don't suggest for any brand, I've sold on Amazon. I've had brands that sold millions of dollars. It's very tricky because once you start selling on Amazon, you get addicted to it. But Amazon charges 15%. Plus, if you spend on ads, you could do another 10 to 15%. So you're giving away 30% margin, and you're training the customer to look for your brand on Amazon. And what happens is when someone similar looks at your data, because all your pricing data, everything's accessible, they'll just run an ad and it'll be like similar product, or Amazon basic, and then they'll just steal your whole customer base. So if you launch a product on Amazon, you could do one product SKU maybe, but then people from Amazon will research it and they'll go to your website. But if you're launching all your SKUs on Amazon and you're a brand that wants to kind of excel, you're just within 2 or 3 years, someone's going to come up at let's say $5, $10 cheaper, and they're going to steal all your sales,
or even 50% cheaper. Like I've had one of my friends launched a pretty unique, specific, niche product for a couple $100, and they say China figured it out pretty quick, and he thinks it was a Supplier, the manufacturer distributor, and they reverse engineered it and pretty much launched it for half the price and just tainted store.
Yep, and he probably, if his sales were majority Amazon, he didn't establish a brand, he didn't establish an authority. It's just a switch. Like I just bought a lock for the door that's a no-name brand because it was $50 cheaper than the name brand, and it had 24,000 reviews. I'm like, I don't know with this brand, but it's got 24,000 reviews. It's $50 cheaper. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. And so that's the perils of launching something like that and then having it be available really immediately reverse engineered and relaunched for half the price. You got to be careful, and you have to have a spread of products and services, right? You have to have more than just one thing.
More than one thing, and then also try to get direct sales, right? Shopify is probably your best bet. Shopify integrates with ChatGPT, Etsy, Mr. Beast, everyone, kind of recommends Shopify, but you need to establish a brand. And this is where we talk about SEO. You have the advantage of creating content that's valuable through videos, kind of like what you and me are doing, that people are like, okay, I can buy from Amazon, but I can buy direct. So right now I bought an automatic cat feeder. I bought it directly from the website versus Amazon. Amazon was the same price, but knowing the logistics, knowing it's a small brand, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to buy directly from them, kind of help them out. And that's where people have to think about, okay, it's still got shipped out. It's still going to come into me, but I bought it from this and I saw it on social media. My wife sent it over to me. And then knowing the consequences of buying from Amazon or buying direct, if you want to support small businesses, like buy direct, but they still need to have their stuff together.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Although it could be a double-edged sword because you don't know if they're. And here's what makes me crazy on those. And I listen. I see great stuff on TikTok and on Instagram ads, reels and stuff. They make really good ads for them. And I'm like, okay, dude, should I really just go to Amazon and buy this? So I've bought direct many times, and they don't tell you when you're going to get it. They don't have, and then you find out it's coming from China. And it's 30 days later, and it's like, oh, damn, that's right. I didn't even think about like this could be, a third-party drop shipping product.
That is a scare. And Amazon has a feature. I don't know if you've seen Buy with Amazon or Pay with Amazon, where it actually drop ship. So if you're a business, you could sell on Amazon. You could do an integration where you ship FBA inventory, but you could have it available on your website and you use your Amazon login. So for the brand, it's charging them 0.5% commission. So instead of, let's say, 15%, it's charging them like 6% or 8%. It still ships from the FBA warehouse. They just make a little more money. You still have the same protection as Amazon. But it's, again, educated consumer. And there's so many websites. I don't blame 90% of the products now is just I buy directly from Amazon, just convenience.
Yeah, because and it's so easy to return, and there's no problems with returning, and when you're going to get it. So they've really cornered the market on just that and being able to get it and convenience. I agree.
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard for a brand. Like you do have to be on Amazon, but you should establish a direct website, have the domain authority, have the videos to get people interested. So if they buy from Amazon, they buy from you. It really, if you set up your digital strategy correctly and you talk about the advantages and you set up your brand authority of, hey, this is, you could buy this on Amazon, you could buy directly from us, you could buy on Etsy, and give people options. That's probably the best way versus saying, hey, buy directly from us only, because that's kind of like a red flag too.
Yeah, I have a meeting tomorrow with a consumer product good that is direct only, and the person who referred them to me, and I asked a question. I said, "Well, what? They're not on Amazon? Like you almost have to be on Amazon as a consumer product good now, even though it doesn't have to be all your sales, but people are going to see if you do a really good TikTok ad or Instagram ad reel, they're going to immediately go to Amazon and see if they can find the same product or your brand. Yeah. Really, if they like a brand, they'll look for the brand. So at least you're on there, right?"
Well, you have to be on there, and then you have to create what's called A+ content where it's visually appealing. And the best way to do it is not to use Amazon's templates. So if you go on Amazon and type in Apple products, what they have is they have images, so they're not necessarily searchable, but they upload prefixed images and they layer them and stack them. So it's multiple images on top to make it like one flowing image. So it's visually appealing. If you use the native Amazon template, it's pretty ugly. It might be a little more searchable, but again, your page is about clickability. And if you search right now, Apple products, it's actually, if you highlight it, you could see it's multiple images layered into one. So they can have videos on there, but it's multiple images created, in Canva and then stitched together to make this one big story.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't expect to talk to Amazon, but that brings me back. I had Amazon when I first did my exit. I was like, I'll start an Amazon store. So I popped in, I don't know, 25,000 or something, and partnered with this company to launch this cat bed. And I learned a lot about the Amazon process for the merchant side. And then we sent it off to a supplier in Canton, China. They supplied it, and they They made like hundreds of them, and they left out a screw packet on every third bed. Just, I guess, supply, or it didn't care or whatever. So every third bed didn't have the screw packet. It was going great. It was getting great reviews, selling. We're like, oh wow, this is cool, it's making some money. And then all of a sudden, bam! Every third one was no screw packet, and people were getting mad and returns. And I was like, no, this is no good. Just shut it down. I don't want to deal with this. And my partner supplier bought it back for me. He's like, I'll take care of it. So they made me whole, and I got out of it. But it was a lesson learned on, like, you got to know who you're dealing with in the supplier side, like, because all they got to do is leave out one piece, and your product is tanked. So
yeah, and potentially the brand, right? If that was your first product and you didn't do the due diligence and launched it on Amazon, and you have 20 negative reviews for that SKU, and you go like, okay, I want to be direct, those reviews are going to show up potentially in search results, even if you get rid of the product. Or people go on Reddit and start talking about, hey, this so-and-so is not a good product.
Yeah. No, it's you got to know your stuff on Amazon, and it helps to go out there to Canton. They say to make a direct relationship with the people if you're going to do that, so you know who you're working with, and try to create a long-term developer, supplier, manufacturer relationship.
And if things are going to go wrong, they're going to go wrong. It's just, I've seen shipping delays as parts shipped out. Is don't, for your first batches, like, get your prototype and then start drop shipping without actually getting the initial products. Like, have some filtering, because I've seen materials switched out. I've seen so many different things. Like, that first initial order, this looks perfect. Get your other mass production products and evaluate them some way. Otherwise, you might destroy the brand, unfortunately.
Yeah, so true. Well, cool. I didn't expect you to go through that, but yeah, it's very interesting. And I know a lot of people will probably get something out of it, because everybody seems like they've got a product or a project in mind about what they want to do on Amazon. They just have to know. And I tell people, they ask, about, I'm like, Joe, go join a group, go join a, Amazon sales group, that does this, and do those weekly calls, and they'll give you vendor relationships and support and add ideas and copy and stuff like that. So,
it's, if you have a product, Amazon's cool, but don't rely on it as your sole source. If you do, you're going to unfortunately tank in just a amount of time, whether it's 2 years, 3 years. If you don't set up your direct sources for your website, it's not reliable, at least in my experience from other brands. So I think add it to the equation, but don't rely on it.
Yeah, totally agree. Always have a list. Use your list, and email your prospects and your former clients. And it's amazing me to segue into CRMs. It amazes me how much people don't have a CRM, or they don't use their CRM. Like, they may have a database of former clients or prospects, but they don't email them.
Yeah, I think emails, you have Klaviyo, you have Constant Contacts, you have MailChimp. So CRMs are a huge money source, because you have someone in the funnel that's potentially engaged, and all these platforms, whether it's Klaviyo, MailChimp, Constant Contact, are using AI. But that's people that have signed up. They spent extra amount of effort to be in your email list, or text messaging, which is becoming popular right now. So by you going like, okay, they signed up, but not putting them into a funnel, whether it's a simple funnel of just brand awareness, or a sales funnel, not having set up, especially all those programs have AI features. But with the CRMs, another thing is, if you're a new brand, you have to kind of warm up sometimes your domain and make sure you're doing the right stuff so you don't get flagged as spam. Because once you get flagged as spam, your emails, if it starts arriving in the spam folder, then, again, you get an email list from someone, you don't verify it, you don't contact them, you reach out to them, then your domain gets flagged as spammy, then you're just wasting time.
Yeah, and don't email cold lists out of your main domain anyway. So if you're going to test it, if you're going to buy a list or an affiliate list or whatever, you got to scrub it first and then send it from a burner domain anyway. So if you want to test something that somebody gave you, says here's an affiliate list and here's that, they're in your niche, you need to run it from a burner domain or burner subdomain anyway, and through Instantly, and not your main CRM. But I will say this, and from the last the one of the companies that I have, Shopify, with the Klaviyo combo, it can't be beat as far as knows what the customer bought, knows what your product offerings are, and knows what they should be sold. The Klaviyo combo to Shopify can't be beat as far as intelligence, because Klaviyo knows all your products, all your services, knows who your customers are, knows what they bought already, because it can see your Shopify store, and it knows what to upsell and offer after. So FYI on that. That's the super powerful combo there, Shopify plus Klaviyo.
I agree 100%. I'll move my camera a little bit, because I see myself. So I got this new camera from Insta, which Insta, I don't know if anyone knows about Insta. They're getting into the drone territory. I don't know if you've seen the 360 drone, which seems insane. That's
and you can turn off the AI tracking if you want.
So it's just I have it on a tripod because normally I do a standing desk. So let's see.
Mouse on top of the Mac. Okay, so that's e-commerce, email. Do you do any cold emailing, cold outreach, or cold SMS?
For me, no. So for my brand right now, I've just still been trying to focus and refine what I'm doing. I do some for clients, and I found out actually recently, there's so much knowledge to learn. I found out there's services that will do like domain warm up. So where if you have a bad delivery, you could sign up for this domain warm up where they'll kind of slowly warm up your domain so it's more trusted.
Yeah, we do that with Instantly.
Go ahead.
We do that with Instantly. Same thing. Like we'll take a new domain and take 12 to 14 days to warm it up before we start using it.
Yeah. But for my business, I haven't been really reaching out. I've just kind of been diving into the AI. I mentioned the Google with the new update to creating content. And I still want to really focus more on the content, kind of what Search Atlas creates and domain authority. And then same thing with the YouTube channels where it's all searchable. So I haven't really started emailing contacts because I'm not having an issue finding clients. I kind of want to perfect what I'm doing and get more into the niche.
Yeah, no, I get it. We're in the same boat as far as that goes. I interview clients before I even take them on. Like if I don't think it's a good fit, or if they're not like, I want a certain type of client like you. I don't want to have just anybody. Like I can't just help everybody, right? And you're not trying to scale right now anyway. You're in a mode of like you're very intentional and personal in who you're taking on and how and what, right?
Yeah, it's also learning. I want to get better at what I'm doing. It's right now domain authority. I mean, if we talk about like AI is becoming the main conversation topic. And right now, if you go to Google Maps, there's an AI overview where you can ask questions for it about that business. It's pulling that information from the general web. It's pulling that information from the business. It's pulling it from the reviews. How do you use that information? And right now, if you search for a business, you have the AI overview. Is that going to hurt a business, right? Because Google has this AI overview. If you come up on there, is that good for your business or bad for your business? But if it's citing your website, if it's done correctly, the one thing I would say, if anyone's launching a brand, do not use GoDaddy. Do not use the GoDaddy AI theme builder unless you want your website to be useless. I don't know. I keep getting GoDaddy ads, and I have 2 clients that are GoDaddy platforms. It is a guarantee of waste of money. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not using anyone else. It's just the GoDaddy theme builder. What it does is if you have an image, which alt tags and image names are high in search, it will change that image name because it's using its cloud servers. So that image name on your website will never come up the same when you try to save it. It'll come up randomly whenever it's resized for you. The theme builder is very limited on optimization. It's really hard. But I do have a client who's a psychiatrist right now. We already have him within a month in the LLM references for his site by just doing the right structuring.
And so on page structuring, are you doing any mentions anywhere?
Right now, just page structuring. So when we created this content, so if you're using GoDaddy theme builder, you have to use certain templates to get the H1, H2, and H3 done correctly. But by using that and using content right now from Search Atlas, but also from just ChatGPT, we're able to structure his data correctly. But because he had his website not ranking, so I told him like spending $2-3 grand to redo your website in WordPress. Let's get some traffic going first to your site. Then we could always redirect it. Focus our time on that versus rebuilding a whole site and starting from scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I got another couple of mentions and AI pickups for number one for 2 clients in ChatGPT and then one in Gemini, and I use this service called Crowd Reply. I'm not a big Redditor. I have a 10-year-old account, but I don't have a whole lot of karma, so it's not like I can go out there and start commenting everywhere. But there's this service called Crowd Reply. And it's basically paying Redditors who have good karma to go out there and give you a mention. It's got to be valuable. It's got to be content related. It can't be spam. But if you go use this service called Crowd Reply, they'll go and give you a mention. You can give them the copy to use to mention you or to answer a question, and they'll answer it for you. They'll have good karma, and they'll put all you need is your name and your domain name or your domain name or your brand name mentioned. Usually not your domain name, not a link, but they mention your name and brand name, then that's one huge signal for AI.
I wonder if it's similar. So, was it WikiLeaks or I'm drawing a blank. What's the website that is it?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Yeah, there are services that you could pay to get on there, but they'll eventually get flagged. So I know companies that spend like 10 grand or, 5 grand to get added there by whichever people that are connected, but they eventually get flagged and removed. So that's one thing. That's one thing I'll say cautious, at least on that side. Is not
same with crowd reply. Like if it's not valuable and it looks like spam, then it may get pulled down in 10 to 30, 60, 90 days. But if it survives over 10 days, it's a high likelihood that it'll stay up. But it's got to be valuable. You can't just go out there spamming. And you can create, if you're a brand and you're big enough and the founder is big enough, you can get a Wikipedia going where you can be mentioned for something that you did that's significant, or an author or something, and you have reviews somewhere, and you have a public facing profile somewhere that's crawlable. Then if AI picks that up in your page and then the Wikipedia page and or the Reddit, and it picks all the signals up, that's a huge driver for getting you mentioned on the LLMs.
Well, you mentioned that, but I think also that if you're any brand, is create a Reddit account and just even once a week pop in and start the conversation. You could have a secretive account name, but also maybe have your brand name. If you're trying to build up a brand, like comment on the industry and have useful information. Like
that's a good point. And what did Manic teach us in New York that Friday? He said, create your own subreddit. If you have something unique, create your own subreddit and go in there and populate it with questions, answer questions, add value, invite your friends, get people to post questions, answer them. So now, that sounds easy on the surface, right? Like you can create a subreddit for your niche or your product or whatever, your service. But here's where the AI weighs that heavily. It's not going to pick up a new subreddit with low likes and low karma scores. You have to have people with good karma giving it lots of likes and upvotes. So you can't just go create it and hope that it'll pick it up. It might, but more than likely what they say is AI LLMs look for good scores from karma and upvotes.
Well, this is also kind of like YouTube. You could create a YouTube channel that talks about, let's say, pens from Outback Steakhouse, right? But how many people are searching and interested in a white pen from Outback Steakhouse? So, like, you have to be aware of the content you're creating. What's your interest in that specific topic? Because I could create 100 articles about a pen, but if that pen has no interest, you're just burning time on something that has zero value.
Yeah, good point. Data pollution. I mean, so if you don't have, as long as your content's good, valuable, it's not like spammy and doesn't look like junk. Like it's got to stand out and really kind of like make people want to engage or like and share. I mean, that's really how to win. This game is still the same. You can create a bunch of content and junk, but it's only a matter of time till it gets smacked down.
Well, I mean, this is why I'm spending time on using Google Flow to create helpful graphs for when I'm drafting blogs. Search Atlas, I'm just one platform. It creates really good blogs, but I don't want to just create a good blog. I want it to be useful. And infographics have a lot of information. And yes, I could use a real human person, but for the most part, like some of the content that's creating citations, it's a lot better. It's kind of like programmers. Programmers were great, but now using ChatGPT or some of these other platforms, they're able to do a lot more work quickly. Like when I'm editing websites now, I ask ChatGPT to give me the HTML code for it. So I'll just implement it because it's structured a lot better versus copy paste on a regular Google Doc. So I think now with blogs, you could create blogs, but they need to be like, don't just create it for volume. Create it where if I was a user reading this, is this helpful to me? Is it understandable? And adding infographics, because you could see, if you go to a blog that's using just ChatGPT, you can spot it right away. I'm turned off. Like you have no images. It's structured the same way. Yes, it may get you ranking, but what if you get traffic there? What's your bounce rate? Like if I personally, like even some AI videos now, as soon as I get to it, I'm like, nope, not interested. Not even going to spend time on it. And I just kind of like leave.
Yeah, you can tell. And there's almost no like in creating just a blog without a video now is almost like why go through the effort? Like if you have like this for what we did on our last video, I took that video, I transcribed it, I created a blog post with it, and then I embedded the YouTube video with schema on that WordPress page to get back and forth boosting from each one of them, from YouTube to the WordPress site. So if you're going to do something, you might as well wrap it and do it correctly.
Yeah, that's something I've seen actually brands where they'll do a shoot or create one piece of content and just put it out once and that's it. You just have to re-edit. So normally when I do a video edit, if I do like a YouTube video side, vertical versus horizontal, then I'll create a short or multiple shorts. So if this video is an hour, you could potentially create 20 shorts of little key pieces, and you have your title optimized, you have your tags, you have descriptions pointing to your main video. But then you also have your Instagram and you have Facebook. So Facebook, you could do Facebook posts where you could select to have a title. That becomes searchable as well. Then you have TikTok, you have X, you have Pinterest. So all these platforms. So if you get one piece of content, don't just stop. I've had a video right now for a client that on Instagram, I think it was like 3,000 views. On Facebook, it was like 1 million views. On YouTube, it was 1,000 views. And then TikTok, 500. But it was the same video, just slightly modified. TikTok tends to like the captions. YouTube, you could do without the captions, because if you think people watching YouTube normally are, watching it and hearing what people are saying, and YouTube, like any brand right now, if you're not on YouTube, if you're focusing on Instagram, you're just hurting yourself. YouTube is the only platform that's going to be on TV right now. I have a client that has 34% or 44% watching their long format videos on TV, higher than mobile, higher on desktop. Like, what other platform is going to get your content on a big screen 70-inch TV?
That's a good point.
It's just easy. It's just like, just do it. Like, Instagram is cool, likes. Facebook is cool, likes. But YouTube, you're getting on a big home screen TV, especially now going to the holidays, going to next year. Like, what's your plan for 2026? What is your YouTube goal?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of YouTube, if you're going to do a YouTube, then do you use vidIQ, by the way, or some other app that'll tell you what good title, handle, thumbnails, shorts?
I use vidIQ. So for my channel, it's actually kind of dormant because I've just been swamped, and I want to get it running next year. So vidIQ is cool for if you're looking at content ideas. You can look at similar content. It'll give you a quick score, and you can find the outliers for a topic. So vidIQ, if you're starting off right now and you haven't done anything on YouTube, go subscribe to the vidIQ YouTube channel. They have tons of useful tips from optimal. Like, when you upload your file, for example, don't just upload it saying JPEG 5.7, whatever it is. Upload it what your topic is about. Don't post it right away. Give like 12 hours, 24 hours for that video to kind of YouTube to be like, analyze it and listen to it. Do the tags, do the description. You could do A/B testing. Like right now, I don't know if you've seen on YouTube, you could do A/B testing for titles. You could do A/B testing for the thumbnail on the long format videos. Like, all those things, they make a difference. And then just because your video hasn't performed right now, don't stop. So I had a client who's into water sports, and they do snorkeling tours. So we upload a whole bunch of content during summer when they're not really searchable because they're seasonal in Florida. Their content started taking off September, October, and November. So their content, like, they have like 200,000 views in some of their content 3 months after it was posted. So know with search, there's certain seasonalities, and understand just because you uploaded it, you just have to be consistent. It's like your gym. Like right now, New Year's resolution, everyone's going to hit the gym for the first week, second week, and then everyone's going to be cleared out, and they'll just have these new memberships.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then when we learned on the last one, don't run. So if you're going to edit your videos, don't put embedded subtitles on the big video. Let YouTube do that, right? You want YouTube to crawl it and then offer the subtitles to that. Yeah,
because otherwise it'll overlay on the subtitles. And actually, with the subtitles, it'll be the same thing on Meta now too, because Meta has translation feature. So Meta would translate your content to potentially 3 or 4 languages if you enable it. Plus, it could do a language translation with lip sync, where you upload a video on Facebook, you can select the translation, and it'll be you talking a different language. If you think of reach, that's huge.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now it's going to be tempting to keep that, like, at least get keywords like Opus Clips gives you keywords like in the middle of the screen, like, and highlight certain things. Like if you say something major, it'll put it in the middle of the screen. I think that's very tempting, but you, to the point you made, like if you're translating and you're putting Opus Clips overlays, translation overlays into your videos, you're giving the subtitle, you're going to start confusing it up and blinding it out. And
you can do 2 variations. Like Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, 10X, they're releasing 10, 20, 30 pieces of content a week, if not a day. It's just none of us are at that level. I have clients that are just trying to even get 3 or 4 pieces of content a month. So until you get the content, and this gives you variation, post one with the captions, post one without the captions. It's just create the content. Don't overthink it.
And speaking of which, not being at that level, like we should be at that level. And like now with Nano and all these other tools, that you should be able to create a ton of good, valuable content, a few small shorts every day, no matter what business you're in. You should be able to create some sort of content that you can push out every day and then test it and see what works best. And then start running ads to that, right?
Yeah, that's the right strategy, is create organic content, create variations. It could be as simple as you talking about, I'm going to use this pen. I'm talking about it, then maybe a high school kid talks about it, then your wife talks about it. Post it organically, see which one does better. That one does better. Okay, boost it or run an ad with it. Don't just assume your ad's going to be better. You have a platform to see if your content performs. Use that organically versus assuming like, okay, I'm going to put $100 behind this. Let's see what it gets.
Yeah. Wait to make sure that's already popular and people like it.
And it's simple. You can see within a video, what's your 3-second retention. If people are dropping off before that 3 seconds, adjust it, right? Shorten it, maybe have a different hook, and try it again till you get that at least 60% where people are finishing the video.
Yeah. Okay, rapid fire questions. What is the biggest SEO mistake business owners are making right now? I think you hit on one of them, like don't build your website in GoDaddy's website tonight, get started today platform, right? That's number one.
That's number one. Number two is relying on another company to care about your business as much as you do. I've seen more and more items outsourced, and the stuff's not being done. So
do owners have to become SEO gurus?
No, I mean, if you think of Harry Ford, like Harry Ford didn't know exactly how to build a car, but he knew what to look for. You need to understand the basics of what is needed. And that hasn't really changed. It's like image tags, proper structure, there's free tools like Google Page Insights, what's your mobile score, right? If your mobile score is like 30%, that's horrible, especially if you're an e-commerce brand. Like you have to know what questions to ask. And if you're not looking into it, I guarantee you, majority of times, I found only maybe like 3 or 4 SEO companies that have actually done the right stuff. Majority of them will kind of take on a client, do a hard onboarding, really wow them the first month, and then they get put on the back burner and barely anything's done because they have that recurrent monthly payment. And it's honestly, it sounds horrible, but it's easy. Like I see, like I hate it. That's why I kind of like resigned from my previous company and focus on this, because I see a lot of small businesses get burned out. Like because you think like, okay, I'm going to pay this professional to do the right stuff. And for me, like with this client I could have told him, hey, you need to rebuild your website completely. Let's put $3,000 in it. Then we'll take 6 months for SEO. But his website had no traffic. So the right thing morally is like, get some content that's trafficable, get you scaling it with your business. And then we could potentially redesign it instead of going to high cost. So the biggest mistake is really not vetting the people sometimes, or then not checking on them for accountability. And don't assume those reports are being sent to you are correct. I had a company that I took over a client for that was sending them fake reports.
That's not good.
Nope.
I've seen that too, and I've outsourced quite a bit of work in like some of my companies, and I'm like always making sure that I get the access to everything that I can see it too. So don't rely.
It's trusted but verified. I mean, this has been in old business. It's been trusted but verified, and I think we've gone away from that as we trust more people. But with AI and content, everything right now you see has to be verified, trusted but verified. I mean, how much stuff on YouTube you see that's not even real?
If you could use only one SEO tool for the rest of 2025 and into 2026, what would it be?
It would be Search Atlas. I know the owner. They're doing a great job. They're evolving quickly. It's still a small company if you think of like 8-9 figure company. But from what I've seen, if there are errors, they're able to adjust quickly. And that's the main thing is if you have a problem with it or any tool, I like Search Atlas. I'm going to stick with it for 2026 because I think it has the largest potential. More than SEMrush, more than any other tool, because you have an owner that's invested personally to want it to succeed.
Yeah, and he's truly hands it on, and he knows it from the developer standpoint and from the consumer side. So he's really totally involved, and you even see him interacting with the chat boards and the clients and the feedback, and like so. I'm very pro Search Atlas for 2026. I think it's just going to continue to add value. You can create content, you can track links and all the things that integrates with in your Google Maps and everything else. It's just unbelievable how integrated it is and how strong it is for one piece of software.
Yeah, it's really if one tool is Search Atlas. If you're not getting a tool, look at for some of Manic's posts because they do have tons of organic content that you could really pick it up right now, learn something as a business owner. So even if you don't want to pay for it, they have free content that will educate you on how ranking, how Google, how Gemini, all these products are changing. And we are changing. I mean, this is like rapidly evolving. I'm excited. Like I love Google Flow right now because the content I could generate with the images now, it's engageable. It's easier to read. And that's what Google started, right? Google started, their goal was to make things searchable initially. It wasn't this whole big ad company. That came kind of afterwards, as they wanted people looking for the product and be able to find the product.
Yeah, well, same with Meta, and it was a crowd sharing app, and then all of a sudden when they started running ads, and they realized, oh, people will pay money for ads. I mean, that was one of our biggest jump starts for my e-learning company. It was Facebook ads in the beginning. Oh man, wow, it's good and cheap and easy, and then it got really expensive real fast.
I would say actually another tip for owners is with the Meta ads and Google ads, don't necessarily trust your advisor because their goal eventually is to increase your ad spend. So be very careful with the AI suggestions on Google, with the AI suggestions on Meta. Make sure your stuff's connected because with Google, I've seen the Meta advisors suggest always a 15, 20% increase. No matter how perfectly or how bad your stuff is, the end conversation is, well, if you spend, X amount, because the Google advisor is a third party, they make commission on that ad increase.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, know your metrics. And if you don't know your metrics, run it through ChatGPT. Get your dashboard, download it, upload it to ChatGPT, and ask it what it should think about your
know your conversions. Figure out where in your funnel, if you're using Shopify, what percentage are actually adding the product to cart, and then from cart, what's the checkout rate? If you have a big drop, then you might have something hindering your checkout process. If you have 10% adding to cart and then only 2% checks out, that's a huge drop. Something's wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And don't be afraid to have somebody come in and take a look, a fresh set of eyes too, is what I tell people. Like, I was just doing this one engagement that got tons of traffic, zero conversions. And being able to go in fresh with the fresh eyes and monitoring and looking where the traffic's coming from, where their landing pages, where their jump off pages, and what their checkout process looks like. With a good fresh set of eyes, you can have somebody within an hour pick out what may be killing your conversions or what may be stopping your traffic from hitting you too as well.
Well, you also have tools like Microsoft Clarity, which will show you what people are doing on your website. For Shopify, you have plugins that Vitals that'll show you in real time where people are clicking, what percentage of the content they're viewing. So if you have a conversion problem, install one of these tools. Of course, you have to have the right cookies enabled to disclose this, that you're tracking. But if you're running ads, you normally already have that enabled. But you can actually see in real time, someone on desktop, someone on mobile, is a pop-up blocking your add to cart button? Are people stopping at a certain piece of content, not checking out? So, we have so many tools available to improve that. But for a business owner, you have to put some time into it. Like, don't just rely. Like, you either hire the right person, but for new businesses, a lot of times you don't have the money. So you need to kind of become an expert, and YouTube lets you become an expert, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Cool. What else? What do we not cover?
Well, I think content. Do we talk about like if user generated content, like a real human versus AI? I would say both combined, but AI is delivering better. And then you coming up with ChatGPT results, potentially people not clicking on your site. But in marketing, you have the 7 touch points where you need to touch someone multiple times. So if you come up with ChatGPT results, you come up with Google search results, because they're referenced sometimes where it's getting this result. If you have the right content and you're useful, people be like, oh, I know this brand. So when they see your ad, they're more likely to recognize you. So don't be afraid to come up with the AI overviews as a reference for helpful information. Not everything, I think, needs to be about getting the person to purchase. Actually, if you're manufacturing, for example, boats, give users the right information to purchase the right boat, right? It might not be yours, but content needs to be helpful. Otherwise, if it's only focused on your product, I think Google and every other brand is eventually going to okay, they only care about the sale. This is no longer helpful information. They're not adding any value, because every email or every blog post ends, by the way, this is the best product here if you buy from us. I think it's going to filter it out if it's not already.
Yeah, it's a good point. So if you have a big ticket product, you need to run several different ads, several different ways on several different platforms, and always be adding value. Because if you have a big ticket product, it's going to take somebody 7 to 21 times to see you before they get convinced that you're the person or the product or service they need. And if you're hitting them on 2-cent view Meta ads, video ads, and then 7-cent view YouTube, Google ads, and they see you over and over again, they're going to get more familiar with it. And one day they're going to hit, okay, yeah, let me go back and buy that thing. It just takes time now. People have a trust deficit, and they have all the time in the world on their hands to make a purchase. When they see your ad for the first time, or they click on your landing page, it's going to take a while for them to come back and hit purchase. So always be running retargeting ads, always be in their face and adding value to what you just said.
Yeah, and also, if you're a summer product, don't start posting till summer, right? Because if you're a summer product, as that example for that snorkeling place, we posted during mid-season, middle of the season where it's really not looking for customers.
Yeah.
Is right now, if you're a summer brand in the winter, start creating your content, start posting, what snorkel gear, what dive gear, what boat, what paddleboard. Start creating tons of content, because during season, when people start searching, your content's been indexed. It's in the platform. It's more likely to come up first versus you posting something that is not fully indexed by these engines. So there's really no off season. Whether you're a nutritionist, yoga, service, there's really not an off season. If you are a service-based business and you have seasonality like air conditioning, and it's winter, start talking about maintenance, start talking about filters, what things you need to look out for. There's content opportunities, and ChatGPT, Gemini, all these platforms will give you ideas, but there's no downtime. It's like an athlete. Athletes don't have downtime, right? In the winter, they do something. In the summer, they do something. In season, they do something. There's no downtime. So you're a business owner, there's no content downtime.
If you want to see what your competitors are doing for ads, go to library.facebook.com and search your competitor's brand name, and you'll find what your competitors are doing with ads, how long they've been running them. And if they've been running them a long time, they're probably doing very well. So FYI.
Same thing for Google. I think TikTok, depending how this ban goes, is still pretty cool. Know your audience base. I think that's really important too, is right now, I know a client who has a male demographic, but some of his content he's tried out with AI. AI with that demographic does not perform well. For me, to spot an AI video is pretty easy. They are getting better, but know your demographic, what content they want to see. And if you run one or two organically, you see it not perform, don't try to push it. Try something till it works.
Yeah, and it's so easy now to create a carousel of 5 to 10 videos or ads or pictures or graphics or creatives, and run 5 to 10 to 20 different ones, and just let Meta or the platform you're advertising on, let it pick which one's the winner. I mean, it's got so easy. And Meta, I've noticed, wants you to win more now than ever. Yes, they did. I saw some of my B2C friends, who run consumer ads. They did an update a couple of weeks ago that just totally whacked out the algorithm on B2C. They were trying to run multi-million-dollar ads on different consumer products for Black Friday. And 2 weeks before Black Friday, Meta ran some sort of update that killed their tracking conversions and just reset them all. Yeah. But other than that, I've noticed that Meta more than ever seems to get a better, they're getting better at getting you in front of the audience that matters.
I agree. I've seen better results with Meta than Google. I have zero trust, unfortunately. As a Google user, as an Android user, I have zero trust in Google Ads and their third parties, because I'll get calls constantly because I have all my clients on their ad accounts. So I'll get all these constant emails. And to make things worse is actually one tip for any business owner: don't have any email that starts with "I hope this email finds you well," because that's a red flag. And for me to get it from Google ad advisor saying, "Hey, I hope this email finds you well. I looked at your brand." I respond, I'm like, "You didn't look at my brand. You didn't research this." I'm
that's about as bad as greetings of the day.
that just infuriated me. Just don't. I hope this email finds you well. But Meta has been doing a lot better for a lot of my clients. But organic, you still need evergreen content. Don't rely on ads. Because like you said, 2 weeks ago, they adjusted the algorithm. If that brand has not posted anything organically, then they got to restart. So you have to keep posting organically. Yeah,
that's a good point. And I'm getting ready to test TikTok, by the way, too. I signed up and started looking at it and doing some background on it. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. The TikTok algorithm, so they used to say, okay, no, TikTok's for kids. Well, guess what? TikTok has all age ranges in there now. Like adults, there's a ton of the what's the age range where they say that ideal age range of 18 to 42, 18 to 54, or 22 to 54 that purchases, whatever. They're in TikTok.
Well, yeah, TikTok. I mean, TikTok's informative too. Like my sister learned a little bit more about stock trading on TikTok than anything else. So, I mean, there is some really good content and good opportunity to get on TikTok. So, I mean, don't discount any platforms. It doesn't cost you anything to create the account. It's just a time investment to post regularly. And on TikTok, I don't know if you know, on TikTok desktop, you could schedule out content. So you go on desktop, schedule out the content. You could do that. You miss some of the features when you're doing it on the app, but you could schedule on TikTok. You could schedule 28 days using the Facebook native platform business suite for Instagram and Facebook. So you could do a lot of the scheduling. Pinterest, you could schedule content out, I think 14 days. Schedule, don't just come in, post one day, have a week or 2 weeks of content ready.
Yeah.
And just kind of schedule it out and forget about it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And somebody said when you're creating the video content in a long form YouTube shoot like this, and then you create the reels, they said you need to drop 4 to 5 reels, shorts in there to make an impact. You can't just drop one. You need to drop a few to seed it, to get it going, to
Yeah, so I have this for a client right now where I schedule out his TikTok videos on YouTube, 28 days, pretty much straight. Because I don't know if the YouTube has a limit of how far you can schedule it out. And you can see on his chart the views are kind of going up because YouTube wants to send people to your channel, and you got to have some kind of rhythm. You don't just post. So if you schedule out similar topics, it's going to keep bringing people in. And this is short, so right now he's probably going to hit 30,000 views, which is not a lot, but again, for his channel that's got 55 subscribers, that's a lot, significant amount from just taking TikTok videos and reposting them on his platform. But the thing I would say also, if you're posting on YouTube, is don't just post a wide demographical topic. Is just post what's consistent to your brand. So if you're a water sports brand, post water sports stuff. Don't just post whatever's going viral, because you're going to potentially destroy your channel if you're just posting random stuff.
Yeah, stay on message, stay on theme,
don't jump around for the next shiny object.
Yeah,
it's viral. It's just, if you're talking about business consulting, keep talking about it. You can talk about different topics. If you're a service-based industry, talk about those services. Don't go for the shiny, viral TikTok video, because that's not going to educate those consumers that want to convert.
Yeah, so true. Cool. Okay, let's see. Anything else you want to conclude? We've covered a lot, man. That was good.
I'm excited. I think 2026 for businesses is huge.
Me too.
It's huge because your expenses are being covered by some of these AI tools. Claude's $20 or whatever, Perplexity, ChatGPT. Like, I'm able to do a lot more HTML coding. I'm still outsourcing some stuff to BAs, but you have access to pretty much a virtual assistant that has access to the internet that could, like, today before our call, I was literally talking to ChatGPT about some topics and just bouncing ideas back and forth.
Every day, man.
And you could hear Gary Vee had a video on where he had a 1-hour conversation with his prompt about a conversation. So as a business owner, like, okay, you have some ideas, like bounce it off like one of these AI agents, because they're breathing and huffing. They sound like a real person, but now they have, like, this is insane to me. Like, this is like, for a business owner to start off now, there's so many shiny objects, but there's so many opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you're a business owner and you don't have a master prompt set up in one of the LLMs or a couple, you need to at least train the LLM who you are, what you do, what your objective is, set up the system prompt to talk like you and sound like you, set up the master prompt to know your business and your goals, objectives, and your team, and then start talking to it in that project. Once you do that and you've trained that LLM, you can talk to the LLM in that project and it knows exactly what business you're talking about. So in some cases, people have a few businesses or investments or interests, right? Yeah. Create a project for each business, talk to that LLM, and remember, ChatGPT is OpenAI, kind of independent. DeepSeek is Chinese, open source. Gemini is Google-based. So if you want Google advice about Google and YouTube, I go to Gemini most of the time on that stuff. And Claude is good for coding. And I got a good question for you. Where can we build a good WordPress, well-built, vibe-coded WordPress site in an LLM where we can say, okay, we want a new site. I need 5 or 10 pages. I want it to be in this kind of workman's theme or whatever. Where can you build that? Is that possible now? Tell me what, how, and where.
Honestly, I think it's possible, but my thing's been lately is I have a web developer out in India that I've been working for 3 years. So anytime I have a new web project, I just kind of been outsourcing to him. I'll kind of get the site layout.
Still do.
I chat with him. I use Hostinger as a server. The one thing I'll have to say is its AI assistant is insanely good. Is because anything from domain redirects, DNS issues, its AI assistant, troubleshooting emails, like you do screenshots, it's been able to give me the right feedback for redirects, DNS errors, Cloudflare, like stuff like that, like really advanced stuff.
Okay, Hostinger, right? All right.
Yeah.
I've been looking at that. I'll have to think about that because we're on WordPress right now. And you're on your...
it's a word. No, Hostinger.
Well, what I mean, WordPress hosted, and they'll chat with you, but they won't give you a whole lot of insight.
Oh, the ability to do a screenshot and say, "Hey, I'm on this page." It'll say, "Okay, you're on the right page. I see your IP address. I see your DNS. This is what you actually need to put in here."
Yeah.
Or I had a Google Gmail that needs to be like when it was being hosted on Squares, which is a Google domain, but we need to do the email. Like, I'll give it a screenshot from here. It's like, okay, this is what you're looking for.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, dude, that's super helpful. I'll get my guy on that right away. Because we have consistent DNS, forwarding, 301 issues. Now, and then how about Cloudflare? Are all your WordPress sites also duplicated on what Cloudflare?
No, probably should, but no. I mean, I did
for
switch.
Speed, not for safety. I'm not worried about getting hacked. I'm worried about speed.
So Some of the clients I have the high volume, yes. Some of them I haven't really switched over to that because I've just kind of been building out their processes and the content. So once you reach a certain volume, probably you need to switch over to that. I did switch over all the WordPress sites from using Yoast SEO to Rank Math. I don't know if that made a difference. So that's one of the plugins where Rank Math, I believe, has instant indexing. It has more indexing connected to Microsoft. Yeah.
Rank Map is better than Yoast now. That's what you're saying.
I think so. I've seen a couple of accounts that have had better results, and I've seen more.
Okay.
I think Yoast SEO was one of the first ones out. It's trusted, but I think Rank Math on the WordPress site is doing better, has more intuitive features, has more AI features. So that's one thing I did switch over for a lot of my clients is from that to Rank Math.
Okay.
Which is a conflict technically if you're using Search Atlas. That's two different things.
Well,
Search Atlas.
I have Yoast on Search Atlas sites still, just because I'm used to Yoast, and I'm like, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
It's good to see that instant feedback. But I do like Rank Math. I feel it's a little more detailed.
And Yoast will do instant indexing if you buy that. So I'm at the pro level, but I think you have to buy an extra add-on to get dynamic indexing, they call it.
Yeah, and it's included for free, I believe, with Rank Math. So that's one of the reasons I switched.
Okay. That's good to know. Man, we covered a lot of good gems here.
It's exciting. Like, I'm honestly, I'm overwhelmed. I have a big dry erase board with little, but
Dude, I'm with you on 2026. I think the economy, as the interest rates come down, the tariff thing settles it down. I see a lot of businesses on the sideline with cash ready to spend, but they just need to know that things are going to happen. There's going to be activity in the marketplace. I think you get construction going, you get home sales starting to happen again, people starting to move and upgrade and change homes and buy homes. I think 2026 is setting up to potentially be another what was 2018 or so when it started taking off last time. So I'm pretty optimistic on that.
We're in a tech revolution. We are what ChatGPT, Gemini, all these things could do right now in December compared to the beginning of the year, and the quality of it is insane. Even I'm physically excited because there's opportunity for small businesses to have a global impact without having to rely on this huge budget that these other businesses or luck. If you follow the right steps, it's like working out. Beginning of the year, if right now you set your goals and you put it out there, this is the tools I need, there's path to success if you follow those rules. It's like going to the gym. If you set up your workout, you're going to go 5 days a week, you're going to do your cardio, you're going to do your weights. By summer, there's no way you failed if you follow that. It's the same thing with these AI tools. You give it a feedback. If you follow the rules for the next 4 months, 3 months of what it tells you to do, you will succeed. Yeah,
I agree. And just be ready to hit it and stay on top of it and keep learning, always keep pushing.
Yeah, keep learning 100%. It's I have webinars I keep joining. Don't make time to learn for this stuff because it's evolving, and don't trust one platform. I'm switching to Google. I'm like, oh damn, Google Images are a lot better now. Keep switching around.
Agreed. And then join a cohort, join a mastermind in your industry, in your group, in your specific niche, and talk to your other professionals that are doing the same thing. And that to me also is such a huge help because you're getting to be exposed to people like you and I met in a software group. Showing up, taking our day out, go across country and.
Yeah, both of us had to fly out of Florida. I mean, that was literally for me, it was like a day trip, morning flight in, and then evening flight out. And you're doing a whole bunch of stuff with automations too. That's another opportunity of where a small business could have a global impact. Yeah, no, for sure. And meeting people there, I'm still connecting with a lot of people that I met there that I'm getting value out of and adding value back to, doing some different events and things. So, always get yourself out there into a group where you can meet other people in your network, in your specialty, because besides just all the softwares, being able to integrate and network is huge. And that's what AI can't do. If we talked about what AI could do, it can put ideas that you and me are getting from this conversation and put them in this visual platform of what my next mission is. It could get the prompts, it could see the patterns, but it can be random from whatever, be like, okay, this is the path I need to go. So this is where the human element, AI is not going to replace the human element, but it's giving us direction, and then creativity could expand. It's huge. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool, man. Anything else you want to cover, mention? No, I think we covered goals for 2026. Anyone watching the video, if you have a small business, put your feedback, what you're seeing this year and what you want your small business or your business to succeed next year. Put it out in the universe. If you have goals, don't just hold on to them. Talk about them. you and me were talking about, we took a train ride back, and just by starting a conversation, don't be afraid to talk to strangers.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you can ask questions in the chat here. I'm going to add you as a collaborator, so you can people can get in touch with you by how do you want people to get in touch with you?
So my email is info@local-business-consulting.com. That's probably the easiest one. Or just, send a comment under below. My YouTube channel, I'll get it up and running next year. That's going to be my goal right now. So I'm putting out there in the universe. My goal is next year to provide helpful information.
You already started? Yeah.
I started. If I need to start regularly posting, it's kind of like workout.
Awesome, brother.
Good shit, brother. See you, man. Cheers.
See you. Sure.